Okay. Hi, everybody. We are back on Facebook today with Trips and Ships Luxury Travel Expert Talk. I'm with Prem Syal from High Tours. He's the president of High Tours in India and runs just an amazing company over there. Do you want to tell me just a little bit about you and your background, Prem?
In the subcontinent, and in the last 22 years, we've covered the entire journey in a very pleasant manner.
Mm-hmm.
We've started as a small company, starting from leisure packages, and we have expanded ourselves into every aspect of travel in the entire India subcontinent. So whether it is India or Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bhutan or Nepal, whether it is a leisure honeymoon group or an alumni or a congress or an incentive, I mean, whether you want to charter a yacht or a plane or a train, any aspect of travel, me and my teams are fully capable to handle any request which comes our way, and to completely satisfy our guests, for what they're looking forward to.
So tell me what your favorite destination is.
To be
And then
honest,
talk about real things.
it's very difficult to take out one special favorite destination as such, because I travel a lot all over the India subcontinent. Sri Lanka as an island remains one of my most favorite, in winters especially. Ladakh in North India, Kashmir is again one of my favorites in summers because there is a lot to discover. Nepal again is very interesting, whenever I need, whenever I'm in mood of hiking, because there are so wonderful lodges and hikes all around. So, I mean, it's basically, for every reason and for every season, for every mood, there are different places to go to, in the Indian subcontinent, which takes me, all the time.
Now, your company is so incredible. I met you several years ago at a travel conference. When I first met you, I was like, oh, this is great. I'm talking with the president, but I probably thought you were like a 4-5-man show because you usually don't get the president right in front of you at these shows. And then you invited me over to India. I made that trip over there. I was shocked, people. He's running a big production over there, lots of employees, a big, beautiful office building. I was showered with flowers and tea and, they're dressing me up and everything. I was so taken back by just the hospitality that your company showed me. I meet with tons of travel suppliers. I've been in the business 35 years, and that was probably the best welcoming I've ever had, probably from any company that I've worked with. So.
Thank you very much, Angela. You deserve that special treatment all the way, because in India, we consider every guest to be God. And one very basic differentiation between us and anybody else is that we really want to be personalized to all our guests. So whether it is a single FIT or it is a group of 1,000 people, it doesn't really matter. For us, every client is absolutely same, and we want to extend all our personalization to that guest. And yes, I mean, we have a decent presence all over India subcontinent, and with 150 people at this moment. And all of those are very personalized, including me, to all my guests.
Right.
I try to meet as many guests possible, whenever I am at any of my destinations. I make it a point to see all my guests, as much as I can. And I really enjoy, meeting and understanding how the guests are really, doing at the destination.
Yeah, and I really think it's incredible because you really just don't get that where you have C-level people meeting with consumers face to face and worried about their well-being on a trip. It's amazing.
Ultimately, we shouldn't really be forgetting that our business is people's business,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to maintain that personal touch, as much as possible.
What makes you guys different in terms of tour companies for that Indian subcontinent area? I get hit up all of the time from people, wanting to book or wanting us to book their products. What makes you guys different?
I mean, the only few the key characteristics that we focus every time is on quality, which is always very important to us, and prices. I mean, having our own infrastructure all over the place, gives us that leeway to we always have a great handle on quality. I mean, be it the guides that we are going to give to our clients, or the kind of transport, the pre-check-ins that we are talking about, and the smoother aspect of travel. So our teams at all the locations give that leeway to us in terms of maintaining the quality. And of course, the infrastructure that we have created in terms of our own transport, our own manpower, I mean, we do not really subcontract with anybody. So that
Right.
brings down the prices substantially.
Yeah, and you'll find that he's the backbone of some major tour companies in the United States. They just do like such excellent work. Let's talk a little bit about destinations. Like, I have a master's in geography. I happen to know a lot of people don't know their geography. They don't even know probably that neck of the woods very well. I don't want to dumb it down, but when you talk Sri Lanka and Nepal and these places, a lot of people cannot even identify that on a map. So tell me really the countries that you're really great at working at.
I mean, to be very honest, Angela, in the last 50 years that that I've been traveling all over the region, I've yet to discover the entire India subcontinent. So it's huge. I mean, I'll give you a very ballpark idea. Even if in India you have to travel from the northern part to the southernmost part,
Mm-hmm.
it will take you 5 hours by a direct flight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty huge. And similarly, from east to west, it will be somewhere around 4 hours.
Right.
And with the kind of diversity that we have, it'll take anybody quite a while, in fact, to understand the entire India subcontinent. But talking about the highlights, yes, I mean, we have beaches that we can really take you around. We have some wonderful hikes and the Himalayas that we can really take you around. We have great culture. I mean, we speak multiple languages. We eat different cuisines. So we have great diversity, which we can show around to our guests.
So when I came, one of the favorite things that I did that I didn't even know existed was the tiger safari. And and where did we do that at?
There are quite a couple of places, but you did it at Ranthambore, which is close to Jaipur. It is in midway between Jaipur and Agra.
Yeah, I think that was one of the best mornings of my life. And I've traveled all over the world up to 5 and 6 months a year. I look back now, my dad is 81 years old and declining. And just to have that experience with him, I mean, that is really going to be just like a precious memory to keep forever that morning. And we didn't see tigers, but we saw bears right up close to us. So many different animals.
I mean, I still remember talking to your dad, on that evening when he was talking about shooting the animals in his backyard.
He's a hunter. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I still remember the kind of sighting that he had in the Tiger Safari Park. So a great guy to meet, when you were here. Yeah, there are a couple of tiger safari parks that you can really go to. And Ranthambore, especially, it is on way, doing your Golden Triangle, which is the main highlight for India. The tiger sighting is pretty high because the density of tigers is pretty much in that small area, in that
Yeah.
small national park. So it's a great, there are a lot of wonderful accommodations, right from tented luxury lodges to wonderful hotels, all sort of nice accommodations are there,
Right.
which suit every budget. So yeah, great place. In
Let's
fact,
talk about hotels for a minute, because oftentimes people will say to me, like, I don't want to go to India. It's too dirty and gross. And, they build up this like image of what India is. And it's so not that. I've been there multiple times, and wow, the hotels there are amazing. There's so many great properties. How do you decide what's your favorite property over there?
again, you are asking very difficult questions, because it's
I know,
it's
I know.
it's very difficult because I mean, without any bias, I would rather rate Indian hospitality to be the best. The art of Indian hospitality, is one of the finest that you can really get anywhere in the world. And as I said, and I would repeat this again, like every guest is a god here. And in Indian hotels, rather take this more literally and seriously.
Yeah.
And there are five-star chains, which I mean, there are a few key buzzwords, moving around these days, especially about the sanitization, about the hygiene, about the trust. So there are hotels in India which have been practicing all these things for many years already. The kind of air that you breathe in these hotels, the kind of hygiene practices that these hotels maintain,
Mhm.
even the smaller three-star hotels, to be honest. I honestly never had any problem of any sort in terms of hygiene, working with any of my hotel partner anywhere in the subcontinent.
Yeah, so super amazing. I mean, one of the things that I've really liked with the groups that I've taken over there is that we've stayed in old palaces. that are
Exactly.
now converted to hotels. So the experience has been so authentic. Getting up and going in a tuk-tuk and going into a wildlife bird preserve early in the morning, so super spectacular. There is so much more to India than just the Taj Mahal. And we all go for the Taj Mahal.
Very well said. I would rather say very well said. In fact, there's a lot in India rather than the Taj Mahal, except the Taj Mahal. The culture that we're talking about, and the character of the hotel that you've just spoken about, it's not a brick and mortar building like, we have Four Seasons, we have Ritz Carltons, we have all those hotels, Marriott's and Hyatt's and all those things.
Right.
But we also have many character hotels, and these are not necessarily full there are luxury palace hotels, but we have these in all sort of ranges, in 4-star, in 3-star, and where the owners would love to handle their guests personally, and where you would love to meet them, have chai with them, chit chat with them, with your sundowners. So it's all in all, it's a wonderful memorizing, wonderful experience, visiting these small homes, havelis, palaces, talking to these owners, getting to know the culture. And yeah, that is much more than really staying in a big 5-star luxury hotel.
And one thing I really liked with working with you guys, now we were over there for humanitarian. You really helped me carve out our experience with that. But on the flip side, so many of my clients want like spa and wellness and yoga. And you were able to combine that right into it. I mean, we were doing yoga up on the top of our hotel at 6 a.m. in the morning in Jaipur. And so we really can create any type of experience people want working with you to make their experience super duper authentic.
Yeah, I mean, yours was a extremely active group, and they were basically, a very young group, and that is why you were getting up at 6 in the morning doing yogas. But I mean,
In real life,
we,
9 o'clock in the morning for real people.
we have we have over 1,000 experiences that we are going to put online, and people can really see them right from going to the smallest alley, witnessing the morning bazaars, going to the spice markets, you know having a lecture from a specialized person on any subject that you're looking forward to speak to, you know visiting anything that you really want depending on your taste. So we have curated in the last 3 months over 1,000 great experiences, and we're going to put all online, in fact, for our guests to choose from. So there's a whole new range of experiences that we've curated, and you would
Yeah, and
just love
curated is really the best word, because when I
yeah.
said I wanted blue pottery, we went straight to blue pottery just to match my house, since we're all getting a tour of my house. Yeah, you want blue pottery, they'll find you blue pottery. You want yoga, you want sustainable development, we can blend that in. Let's talk about some of the other destinations. I have not been to Sri Lanka, dying to go there. We talk about that every single year.
I mean, we were
This was
already
my
looking
year. This
forward.
was my year.
We were already looking forward to have you there. In fact, when you asked what is my favorite destination, and as I replied, Sri Lanka remains one of my most favorite destinations. Because I like islands. You have wonderful sea.
Mhm.
The pressure in terms of humanity is much lesser there because it's very scarcely populated. And in the last 10 years, Sri Lanka has seen a lot of developments in terms of new properties. There's a great character in terms of beach hotels. It's very cheap. There is a lot of authentic cuisine and experiences available. They have great people, wonderful tropical climate all the year round. I mean, you name it. There are so many nice experiences that you would not really want to leave from there.
Okay, so Sri Lanka is at the very top of my list, and I know a
Mhm.
lot of the viewers watching today want to go with me, because people want more authentic experiences right now, and I feel like that's still at the top of that list.
Mhm.
Why is the Maldives so incredibly expensive? What makes that so
I
untouchable
mean, I
for
would rather say seeing is believing, unless until you really witness Maldives, you would not really believe what we're talking. I mean, I have never honestly seen anything closer to, what Maldives is in terms of beauty, in terms of uniqueness. It's absolutely great. Now, why it is expensive? Because in, I mean, all these islands, 3,000 of them are pretty much scattered. So
Right.
from the Male airport where you would be landing, via your international flight, you'll have to take a seaplane or a boat, and couple of and as far as you go from the airport, the more beautiful it starts getting, because it's more serene there,
Yeah.
and I mean, it takes somewhere around 45 minutes to 1 hour to reach to the hotel of your choice. And there is one hotel, one island. That's it. There's nothing more there. And in whole of Maldives, there is nothing except tuna. And whether you talk about your wines, you talk about your vegetables, everything is being imported from either Australia and lamb or fishes, Sri Lanka or India. So the transportation cost is pretty much high. There are no people, there is nothing, except beauty, except nature. So, and it's good,
Okay,
eh,
what does it cost to stay in one of those overwater bungalows per night?
not
Just
much, to be honest, not much. I can really get you a beautiful on the water bungalow, on a $300 $400 per night basis.
so when you're comparing that to Tahiti or some of these makeup ones in Jamaica now, if you're going to go to Jamaica, some of our bungalows are over the water are $20,000 for a week.
I
Crazy.
mean, there
Maybe
are
the
bungalows,
Maldives.
there are presidential suites in the hotels which are of that range.
Mhm.
And I mean, there is no dearth in terms of going higher in terms of the price. But when it comes to good quality, I have wonderful hotels, which ranges from $400 and $500 per
Right.
night, and they're absolutely wonderful. I mean, there is nobody except you in that room. There are maximum 30 rooms on one island. There are maximum 30 35 rooms in one hotel on one island. So there
Right.
is a lot of privacy, and none of the hotel is ever packed. So you are on an island with maximum 20 25 30 people. That's it. Anytime that you go in a year, so that gives you a lot of me time, a lot of privacy, and a lot of nature all around you. So,
That's my next trip. That
and
Sri
again,
Lanka
and
and
again,
Bhutan.
yeah, when you're going as far as India from US, especially, which is 18 hours, 16 hour, 14-hour flight, or to Sri Lanka, for instance, I mean, it's a must. I mean, you must really spend those 3 nights and at one of those wonderful bungalows in the Maldives. There are direct flights from all over India and Sri Lanka to Maldives. And so, yeah.
How are you guys handling? I mean, the whole world's closed right now. And we had to cancel our group with you because of COVID. How are you guys handling that? And how are we going to rebound now? Because I feel like a lot of us, and I've got travel suppliers watching this and agents as well as my consumer feed, and we're putting this out on YouTube and everywhere. But how are you guys handling the crisis, and what do you see happening? And we're not going to hold you to, like, there's no crystal ball here. None of us, we don't know when
Yeah,
it's all going to pop
absolutely.
open.
I mean, though I've been hearing to a lot of everybody is a travel expert these days, and everybody seems to be commenting on, when would travel start, in bits and pieces, and I mean, at least I don't really know, to be honest. Only thing which I know is that travel will happen. When? I mean, that's a $5 trillion question. And to be honest, as I said, that there are no clear answers yet when travel will resume. But what I know is people want to travel. And the time we've spent isolated in our homes only make this yearning grow even higher.
Do you
I
do
mean,
you
we've
do you feel like prices are going to be higher? And that's a concern that people have, is initially there's going to be some deals out of the chute, but how do we recover economically?
See, to be honest, everybody's taken a big hit. So I
Mhm.
strongly presume that airlines, hotels, and destinations must inspire this confidence in order for people to travel again. That combined with attractive airfares, deals, incentives should ignite the travel market back easily. We've been talking about trust, we've been talking about safety, we've been talking about flexibility. And this is what is important to consumers. There's a heightened environment and social consciousness these days.
Right.
People have been talking to taking fewer, more immersive trips rather than taking half a dozen trips in a year. Perhaps off-season travel would also get more, off-season travel would also get a boost, because it's less crowded, and that's what people really want these days. Initially, perhaps there would be more car trips. That's what we are foreseeing,
Mhm.
followed by train trips, buses, and then finally planes. I've also read continuously about the luxury segment being rising the first, private jets, private yachts, villa rentals. travel insurances, I'm sure, would really go up given the recent experiences. And smaller hotel, boutique hotels, I've heard, I've been talking to many people all around. Smaller boutique hotels would rather, when we were talking about Maldives, when we are talking about destinations like Bhutan, which is
Mhm.
never crowded, even in the peak of the season, they never allow the country, the Bhutan country as a country, they
Mhm.
don't allow maximum more than 30,000 travelers. So it's never crowded. I mean, the kind of hotels that we sell, the biggest inventory hotel would be what, 25 rooms in Bhutan? So 35 rooms in Maldives. So these hotels are never crowded. And that's what people would rather be looking forward to. So these are very good starting points. These are very good starting destinations, what I really see forward, with these destinations.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
social distancing, will be the name of the game. So whether it's restaurants or sightseeing, institutions, monuments, I mean, we'll have to adapt the new reality. It will perhaps take more times at airports, immigrations, monuments, because of certain checks, which would be there, in the due course of time. But I'm sure, we as humans would have adjusted many times. After each incident that has happened in the globe, we've adjusted to it very nicely. So this is just a matter of time that it would really pass by. I mean, 9/11 perhaps has changed the way we travel, and COVID would change perhaps the process of travel. So that's
Right.
basically it.
COVID, are the numbers high in India? I mean, to be honest, people are only watching where they
No
live.
way, no way. I mean, we are 1.3 billion population.
Yeah.
1.3 billion population. We have today 30,000 cases.
Yeah. So they've
So
really made it back.
30,000 cases is even less than Sweden.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I kind
And
of,
our
so back,
government, in fact, has
jumping
been,
off of COVID for a minute and back to just the destinations, I feel like, and you touched on this just a minute ago, I feel like if you're going to come to Southeast Asia, come for a long time. I mean, I'm a big believer in
exactly. I
spend
mean,
a couple of weeks and really do it. Although Americans, unlike Australians, don't have that privy time, but you can get a lot done in 14 days, 2 weeks.
when people are talking of taking fewer trips, they're also talking about taking long staycations.
Mm-hmm.
So going to a place, and stay putting there for a bit longer time than usual. Like if the average trip was 14 days, it's gonna be perhaps 3 weeks now, because it's worth the time and effort that they're putting
Right.
in, going to a new destination. And it'll be more immersive trip. And so it'll be less on sightseeing, more with nature, open parks, and that kind of travel.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about Nepal for a minute. Really, one of the most
Mhm.
fascinating destinations that I've been to, and so different. I had people that came on my India trip with you and my Nepal trip, and I think everybody thought Nepal was
Yeah.
going to be the same as India, and those are so diverse. And again, that's just because we don't know our geography in America very well, but so diverse on so many scales, I couldn't even believe it. And very, very intelligent people there,
I
just the
mean, there is
smartest people.
I would rather be opposite and say, I mean, there is no similarity as such, to be honest, in India and Nepal.
Mhm.
They are two completely different destinations. They are two different countries. I mean, there's a lot of different diverse geography, diverse landscape, language, people, sightseeing, monuments. The experiences are completely different in Nepal than what they are in India. And
What's your number one destination right now? Like your number one go-to besides Taj Mahal, because obviously everybody's doing that. But what are people like dying to see if they're kind of experimenting with travel or want some, trendy, hot, not hot in terms of weather, but the hottest, latest go-to.
see, India being a huge destination with a lot of variety and a lot of choice available, it always remain on top of the list. And people who have been to India, then there comes a matter of luxury. Would they like to go to Sri Lanka or Bhutan, which is, 3 times more the cost of India, or Maldives, or the luxury lodges in Nepal? So then it comes, or maybe, when people are coming all the way from US, 50% of those people have at least two destinations bundled together. Either it is India or Nepal, India or Sri Lanka or Maldives, Nepal and Bhutan, India or Bhutan. So there's a combination of distances, because it's only a 30-minute flight, to any of the destinations from India. So, and it's
Or
worth
you
that
can
fight.
stop in Dubai on the way. I did that coming one
Yeah.
time, which was a great choice. And you guys also have Dubai as a destination.
Absolutely. And it makes a lot of sense, in fact, because Dubai is a kind of a 2 or 3 night stay anyway, It
Mhm.
gives you a fresh, and it's quite, again, a diverse destination in terms of nightlife, in terms of what
Right.
they offer. So a great mix, and to complete your journey in terms of the final offering.
As far as, okay, let's look at Bhutan. Bhutan's really expensive for US travelers to go to. I've mulled that over like so many times, and it doesn't seem like completely cost effective. Why is that so crazy in price? Is it because of the permits to go in?
First of all, it's because of a very boutique nature of the destination. I
Hmm.
mean, the destination itself doesn't really allow over tourism or overcrowding, or to be overcrowded in terms of tourism.
Hmm.
The government of Bhutan does not really allow beyond a certain number of travelers, and that is very, very less. And beyond that, the government of Bhutan charges you a minimum tourism fees to maintain the infrastructure and tourism. That's kind of a levy, that's kind of a fee, in fact, through which they really keep the Bhutan clean and away from overcrowded tourism. So that is the main point why it is expensive. Second major reason is that Bhutan lodges are very unique in nature. I mean, there are lodges which are 12, 13, 14 rooms, And last time I was in a lodge, there was an American family, extended family of Americans, traveling in that lodge, which have taken 5 rooms in a 7 room lodge. And so I mean, and the kind of experience that I was sharing with them, in that how were they liking that experience and all that. It's what that experience coming to a place like Bhutan, which is untouched, undestroyed in terms of anything. They preserve their culture, their heritage, their, their nature so very well, in fact, that it's worth that price. It's worth every dollar that you pay to go that country.
I was really dying when I saw your photos. I think the minute you posted them, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to get there. It's just so unbelievable in terms of, like you said, untouched beauty. And I think there are so many travelers right now that are looking for that untouched destination still.
Yes, and we are already working in terms of having. I mean, you have to be gracious in terms of your deals to provide to the market, and until you reduce the prices rapidly or come up with very interesting deals rapidly, the market would not really trigger up. So we really want to be the first one out of the door with real value deals, especially with destinations like Bhutan, Maldives, which are not really everybody's game in regular times.
Yeah.
So, and we would be very flexible in terms of our cancellation and change fees and rules. So travelers really want to invest. They're ready to book, in fact, if we can really give them, flexible deal. And if we can really give them the trust of that their money is safe. And if the deal that they're really getting is one in a lifetime kind of a thing.
I mean, really, that's been the issue that a lot of American travel agents have had is destination management companies on the ground have not been flexible in refunding and helping people move vacation forward. That there's actually kind of an ongoing blacklist right now of, whoa, they did us wrong, we're not going there. I didn't feel that with you, and you just recommended for the agents listening that you're going to be moving forward with more flexible policies. So what can we expect on that?
Exactly. I mean, again, when you said travel agents, I strongly believe that post COVID, travel agents would really gain the market, which comes after the crisis, because there are not really many good experiences out of that online travel agencies that I have been hearing. There were there were high cancellation fees. There were nobody
Let's
to
make
speak
this,
to.
there's been no positive experiences with that.
Absolutely. And so I strongly believe that more and more people post COVID would like to use travel advisors and skip OTAs completely, which have proven already to be so highly unreliable. And these travel advisors would really need to be educated more on the destinations and the deals, which would not really last very soon, I'm sure. And they should be really, the ones to take the deals to their clients. They should be the ones to advise their clients about these deals, about these safe, less crowded destinations, which are so full of nature, which are so less overcrowded, and which are so immersive in terms of style of travel. So travel agents would really play a very crucial part, going forward.
Yeah, and
In
I
terms of,
appreciate you saying that because obviously I am a consultant myself, but I don't know how you can curate a destination like India without somebody who's been on the ground, a specialist with that. I don't know how people just, click and pay on something like that. There are just so many details and so many fine details that you guys have added to the mix that make it just an amazing vacation. We can really customize anything with you and make it, we can just create dream trips with you guys. And I love that.
I mean, thank you very much. And we are always here, in fact, for our agents. I mean, we are always here to help you guys.
Mhm.
And in terms of training, in terms of education, in terms of presentations, in terms of answers, we are even planning to open our office 24 hours now. So post COVID, whenever the office resumes, it will be also working as per the US timings, because we have already felt the need that we would have to be very fast, in terms of our response to our agents. Any question that has to be answered straight away without a lag of 24 hours or 18 hours, whatever. So we
Really,
would be
I
working
felt
as
like you guys were really good at that before. So I can only imagine that it's going to be better because I never had, and that's one thing I look for when I work with suppliers and build these relationships is how quick is the turnaround time? Am I waiting 5 days? If I'm waiting even a minute, I'm like, it's not going to work for me because it makes me feel not very confident. And I've never felt that way with you guys.
see, we were already very aggressive in terms of our responses to our clients, in our regular style of working. But now post COVID, as I'm saying, we would be working 24 hours. We would be working as per our US timings, as per our UK and Australian shifts, so that agents can simply pick up the phones and ask. I mean, we are talking about luxury, and luxury is very fluid and personal. Luxury doesn't really always mean, dining in Michelin stars. Luxury doesn't really mean staying at 5-star hotels only. Luxury is more of some thoughtfulness. I get what I want as I want it at the time I want it. So that's luxury. So we want to give you that luxury of picking up the phone and talk to us whenever you want for an answer, and the response time would be simply 60 seconds. So
And when we're talking luxury with India, there is a big difference. The first time I came to India, I was picking up my daughter from study abroad in China. And my thought was, hey, I'm only going to go to India once. I'm going to swing by, not that it's a hop, skip, and a jump from Thailand, but we were coming China, Thailand. I was like, I'm going to swing by, see the Taj Mahal, be in and out in 3 days. Just, didn't really have any connections. This was years ago. Didn't have any connections in that marketplace. Got on TripAdvisor, found somebody that was recommended. I have to tell you, bought a 4-star hotel. It must have been barely a 3. The experience was so ragged that I really didn't want to go back until I met you again. And I fear that that's the case for a lot of people, that it just go onto like a TripAdvisor or something and try to piecemeal this whole thing together. Once you introduced me to the luxury properties there and the experiences there, and once I got introduced to the people, that was the biggest. I mean, you can go to any destination and see a building and have a good experience. But once I started integrating myself with the people, that was really a game changer for me. And of course, the properties. I dying
and that
over the properties.
and that we count as a wholesome experience.
Mhm.
Unless until we are really taking out, meeting the sharing the culture, letting you meet the people, who are really sharing their lifestyle with you firsthand.
Yeah.
Till that time you would not really absorb the lifestyle. We really want you make feel like a local yourself. And that's the wholesome experience that we specialize in. Not really check-ins and check-outs and that's it. That's not our style of travel.
Okay.
And yeah.
Real quick, if you could guess, what do you think the timeline is of opening? This is putting
Being
you on
very
the
honest, I'm being very positive, Angela. I'm already working with a UK operator. I'm already working with one of the biggest Australian operator, fixing, and these operators are working, for our destinations as a new addition in their brochures for next year. So that's a very positive movement. I'm talking to a wonderful agent in London, in fact, who was putting us in their brochure for next year's. One of the biggest companies in Australia, which is putting us in their brochures for next year. So if these agents are really so hyper, I'm talking to a Canadian agent, one of the biggest Canadian agents today, in fact, for a trip to Bhutan,
Yeah.
a lady's trip to Bhutan, a lady's trip to Bhutan. So, and these all are, ultimately the entire ball has to roll in. You have to sell, your agents have to sell, we have to sell, the hotels really need some business.
Yeah.
So unless until we work hand in hand together in terms of making the client really winning the client's trust and confidence in terms of making him sure that he's safe, his money is safe, whatever you are selling and advising to your client is good. I mean, I'm sure with all these strategies in place, we can really trigger travel easily back, as soon as the airlines are up in the air.
Yeah. And I'm going to be putting my groups back on the book with you, and not just my humanitarian groups, but I'm going to be offering a luxury trip as well, for my non-humanitarian, because that's a different, it's
Wonderful.
a different experience and it's not for everybody, but definitely more of my luxury high-end trip. And just having that in the works, because we want to be selling more India and we want to be introducing people to this area. It's just so fabulous. Okay. How can you close this up for us? What can we, because we got bumped off of Facebook again, and so we're recording now. We haven't been live, but we'll be showing this back out to our viewers. So how can you wrap this up for us and get us excited?
I mean, to end this up, I would rather say not, let us wait for the things to revive back. And so I said, let us not have our visions narrowed or dreams dulled or feel stuck and lose energy, to let our dreams deflate. Let us wait for this dark night to be over soon. And, we begin, it's just a matter of time that we begin our daily routines once again. So, and believe you me, in the last 40 days that we've been under the lockdown, we have worked so hard in terms of curating. I mean, we have done new experiences, we have done new city packages, we have done FIT products, we've done 40 new guaranteed departures. We have done so much on product, we've done so
When
much
do
of product.
we get to look at that? When do we get a hold of that?
In a month's time, we are going to present to all of that to you, and you would have a great choice. You would have great prices. And I mean, I'm dying to travel once again, and I'm 100% sure people like me all over the world, like you, we're all ready to travel once the planes are up and running.
How many, I know I said that was my last question, but I always lie in these interviews. How many countries have you been to?
Not much, to be honest. It's around 50, 51.
Okay, so
And
we're tied up right around in the low 50s.
yeah.
Okay, you're killing me. Just talking
So
to
the
you.
list is long. But the list is long, and I really want to, tick it very fast now.
Yeah, it's so funny when you don't have it anymore and you travel as much as like both of us do, how much you miss it. Like you really feel like,
Exactly.
wow,
Exactly.
you know, I just
Yeah.
want it back. And yeah, I want to come back. Just talking to you makes me so
We want
excited.
to have you back as soon as possible. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay. Thanks for having, being on my little talk show. And together, I feel like we're just going to grow some great things in the future in luxury travel and in humanitarian work. There's so much on both sides to be accomplished. And you really have a market that fits the needs of so many types of people over there. And so thanks for being on my show. Thanks for being amazing and being so personable and not sending
Thanks
me
for
down to the
inviting.
very lowest on the totem pole.
The pleasure was entirely mine. It was such a great honor to be here on your show. It was lovely talking to you once again after so much time. Give me regards to your family, especially to your father, and
Thank
all the best. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay strong.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.